Everyone, hope everyone's doing okay. Nico and Greta from the Rock team here. Today we will be walking you through some of our latest new features, including the management dashboard, user status panel, and time tracker. In case you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us after this event or in the Rock customer support space or the community. I'm always happy to hear more about what you think about the latest features, new suggestions, or feedback about already existing features. Let's jump right into it. I'll start explaining the management dashboard, everything you can do with it, and more with that. Let me quickly change screens. So the management dashboard is a new feature we have added. You can find it on the left side of your view. If you click on dashboard, it will open up. People that can see the management dashboard are all of those who are involved with a pro space. So even if you're a free user and you've been invited to 3 pro spaces, then the management dashboard will still work for you. Nevertheless, you will not see everyone else's tasks. You will only see your own tasks across those 3 pro spaces. So in a certain way, it is very similar to the My Tasks panel. Nevertheless, there's a few extra lists and filtering options that you can do for that. Now, if you're the purchaser of a pro plan or a manager under the teams plan, you will see a lot more in the management dashboard. Besides your own tasks, you will see tasks of every single person that is in one of those spaces that they're assigned to. So you will have an overview of everything that is happening across those pro spaces. Note that for a space to be displayed within the management dashboard, you need to change it to pro. Free spaces will not be displayed on this dashboard. So walking a little bit through the different features, you can select a workspace or you can select individual spaces. Let's say you have 12 spaces in your workspace and you're on a Teams plan, then all 12 spaces will display. But if you select only individual spaces through that panel here, you will only be able to put in up to 10 spaces. So the workspace will always display all the spaces within that workspace, but if you do it individually, it will only display those individual spaces that you select, and you can only select up to 10 spaces. Let's keep the view we currently have. It has a few spaces. It has some information across some of our task boards. So there is a group by function, so you can choose to group by lists, which will show all the different lists across your spaces. You can choose to group by spaces. So currently you see that we have all hands, random, content and production space, a website and development space, 2 web design spaces, and some other stuff. You can also choose to group them by assignees. This can be very useful if you want to see how heavy the workload is of your team members across those different spaces. So for example, in this view, I can see that Casper has 20 tasks, whereas Emma and Dwayne have 11 and 7 respectively. So if you're managing a team, it gives you more overview on what workload each person within that team has, how you can maybe reorganize those tasks, and also what priorities and things people are currently working on. It's also really convenient if you want to find some tasks back, because you can just search them within this panel and then it will quickly show you all the spaces or all the tasks within those spaces that you might be looking for. You can also filter by priority. So it's super useful if you're using priority within your team. You can see directly which things are on high, urgent, lowest, or low. This can be very useful if you are working on prioritizing things, you have a lot on your plate and you just want to focus or have people focus on the most important things. You can also quickly update a set of tasks that are maybe on the medium list and then see which one should be falling under urgent right now and which one can be lowered to low or lowest and which ones you want to keep under that medium tag. So it makes it easy to incorporate this feature within your workflows, just because across all of your different spaces, you can now calibrate which status you want to give it in terms of priority. Last but not least, you also have a sprint option. So if you have different sprints across your spaces, you can directly see everything that falls under those sprints. As you can see, it also includes some that are done or in a done list. So it just displays all the tasks that are happening, but usually the done ones go further down the bottom. But it organizes everything within those sprints, which makes it easier to find them across spaces or organize your work on sprints as you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Now, in addition to that, you also have individual filter options. So as I mentioned before, there's a search option in the panel and there's a filter option. The filter here works very similar to how you would do it in a regular task board or in the My Tasks panel, where you just click on Add Filter. You can choose spaces, assignees, assignee status, etc. If you select 10 random spaces, you can also filter by workspace. It will add on in the bottom of that list. So let's say I want to see everything that Casper is doing across sprints, then you can just select here, look for Casper. And now you see every task he has across different things. So if you're working on configuring the sprint for people, configuring tasks for people, you can, in this view, change it by assignee or other workflows that you might want to set up for yourself, and then quickly start moving tasks within those spaces to the correct sprint, the correct place, and the place within those workflows where you want those activities to be displayed. That's most on the management dashboard. I think there's loads of good use cases. We do have a product guide that explains more of the technical parts of it. In the upcoming months, we will be releasing some content that helps you with the use cases for it. But in general, it allows you to manage and coordinate everyone in your pro spaces. So even if you're working with freelancers, external partners, or clients, you'll be able to have an overview of all the tasks that you are working on. And you can quickly update, change, and filter tasks that are relevant for you right now, because it just displays all the tasks across all those different spaces from all users. Now, there is a second view in the management dashboard that's interesting to mention, which is the summary view. There's 4 tags in the summary view: just completed, just started, stale, and time consuming. Note that time consuming will only show if you have a time tracker add-on to your plan. This does not come automatically included within the Pro and Teams plans, and you will have to purchase it additionally. But I'll be explaining the time tracker a little bit more later in this session. But a quick overview of the tasks that fall in here. Just completed are tasks by time that have been moved to the done column. So if you're trying to see what has my team completed this week, what have we completed with a client, what have we completed with an external partner, you can just go to that just completed list and see everything that has been finished in the last few days or hours, and they just go in chronological order. So as I scroll back, you will see that the dates might change from like when it was completed. So these are from October 18th and 17th. And on this account, we don't have more recent ones, but like if I move something, it would show in that just completed list as well. Just started are tasks where an activity has recently happened. So that can be the creation of the task, an update, changes to the description of the task, and stuff like that will show under that just started column. Once again, also in chronological order. Still tasks are tasks, ignores all tasks that have been moved in the last 7 days and shows different activities across your spaces where no activity has happened. This can be very useful because you can look into these tasks and discuss with your team whether to deprioritize them and maybe archive them, or whether you want to move them forwards, change the assignees, or reprioritize when this task has to be done. It's really good if you don't want to keep those tasks in your task board for weeks, months, and just keep them moving across those different timelines without finishing. So in here, you just have a quick summary of all tasks that have not been moved a lot in the last few days, which allows you to then reprioritize them and move them around. For now, this is most on the management dashboard. We will be releasing extra content, which are also always welcome to reach out to us in the community. More than happy to help you or any other users in order to get them to use the management dashboard, learn more tips and hacks, or any other ideas you might have for the feature. Next up, passing over to Greta, who will explain you the user status panel.
Hi, everyone, and thanks, Nico. Yes, let me go through the user status panel. I'll just change the screens. Yeah, so user status panel basically allows you to provide your availability to your team and also see the availability of your team members. How you can access it, you just go on your avatar here, you go on settings, and then on the left side, you will see my status. So basically the user status panel has 2 sections, 2 different features. And let's start with online status. This feature is available only for the Teams plan. So either you are a purchaser of the Teams plan or you are a member of a team of somebody who has purchased the Teams plan. It allows you to show your team members that you are online. So here you see this little toggle. You can leave it on, or if you don't want anyone to see that you're online, you can switch it off as well. So then it will switch off for all the workspaces at the same time too. So this basically allows you to see the availability of your team members. If you see that there is this green little circle next to your team member's name, you can assume they are online, right? So it's kind of self-explanatory. Here you see a list of your workspaces, so you can also manage your online status individually on each workspace. If you, for example, today are not working on marketing at all, you can just hide your online status there, but by using this little toggle, so all your colleagues that are in the marketing workspace, they will not see you as online. Well, as I mentioned, this is part of the Teams plan. And if you are a purchaser of the Teams plan, you can go to the main admin panel here on the left side, click on members, and you will be able to also switch on and off the online status to your entire team. However, every individual has the right to switch it off if they want to, so on their status panel. But you as a manager, you can, if you agree on that internally, you can switch it on for the whole team. And also here you can see the last active information. So it's a list of your colleagues, and you can see when they were active last time. Going back to my status panel, there's the second part of it, which aligns more with the asynchronous approach. So it's custom status. And you can customize your own status, which will appear next to your name on Rock. So this is not exactly the online status. It's something more, something that you can identify with on a more like longer basis. So you can choose if you want to identify that you're working on a specific task, or if you're busy. So for example, you are busy with writing an article, let's say. So you just write busy with, and then you can find that specific article. Here I don't have it, but I will just use launch email. And then you can choose an emoji, which would identify with how you're feeling or what you're doing. So in this case, I would use the nerd face. So my colleagues will see that I'm busy with this task, and I have the nerd face emoji. Also, you can set up a time for how long you want to show this custom status. If you are planning to work on this task for the whole day, you can just set it up as the whole day. So this will appear next to your name for this period of time. Here you have an option to mute your notifications. So your colleagues will know that you're busy with this task. They will not expect you to reply immediately, and you can have your notifications muted. So if you hit save here, the status will appear and it will stay for 1 day next to your name. Also, we have prepared a few templates which might be helpful for you. So one of them is in the meeting. So if you're in the meeting, you don't want to receive notifications for 1 hour, and you want to be sure that your colleagues know that you will not be that easily reachable during that meeting, you can just set it up, and then for one meeting your status will be this. We also have a focus time, which is inspired by the Pomodoro technique, meaning that you have 20 minutes of focus time and then 5 minutes break. So 20 minutes you don't receive notifications, and 5 minutes you have more of a break time, so you can answer your colleagues, you can check up your messages, and you get notifications. Available to for chat template is basically, maybe it can be useful when you just start your day or you finish your day. You want to identify to your colleagues that they are welcome to reach out to you, and you get notifications so you can chat with them. And the last template would be the holiday one. So if you're on holiday, let's say for 7 days, you can just identify that, and all your colleagues will be aware that you are not responsive for those 7 days, and you also don't get notifications. So that's most on the user status panel. And I hand over to Nico to talk about the time tracker.
All right, let me quickly share screen. So in addition to the management dashboard, we have also added a time tracker to Rock. So this is a feature that is an add-on to the paid plans. So you need to add it to your pro plan or your team plan to enable it. And the time tracker can be used across all of your pro spaces. So what it basically does in a short summary is you can go to individual tasks and see how much time you're spending on them. So if I go into here and I want to see for a task that this user is assigned to, I can just add myself as an assignee. You need to be an assignee to track time. So let's see across one of my pro spaces, because I don't think this one is in there. So this is one of my pro spaces. If I want to track time, you'll see that an icon appears on the top right corner of it. So you can start tracking time for it. Click on it, and it will then appear in the time tracker panel. Once you want to stop tracking time, you can also do it within the task. You just have to press the same button, but now it just starts counting how much time you're spending on that task. Now, if you want to get some more information on that or manage that in a more dedicated place, there's a time tracker panel in the top left corner above the credit program. So you just have to click on it and you'll see that the time tracker is starting now. So I just clicked on that how does ROC work tasks in the all hands space. As you can see, the timer has started and this panel gives me an overview of all the time I've tracked. This is the individual panel, so we'll only show the time you have tracked from your own account. It gives you an overview of the tasks you completed, the tasks are in progress, and the total amount spent. So for example, if a task is moved to a list with a checklist and you have been starting to track time for it, then it will count within that task's completed entry. So let's move to last week. So there's a lot of hours. Don't forget to turn your time tracker off if you want to avoid issues with that. But as you can see, there's 8 tasks in progress. So if you go down the list, you can see all the different tasks this user has been working on. And then 1 task has been completed. So as you can see, the UX survey here has been published. He spent 26 minutes on it. So it will highlight in the panel that that task was completed. There's different toggles for the periods you want to see tasks in. So I just moved from this week to last week, but I can also select this month, which will then add all the weeks up from the current month, or you can go to last month so you can see how much work you were doing last month. It's a new feature, so we don't have time tracking for that period yet. But as you continue to track time for the different activities you're doing, you'll be able to find information across those different toggles. Now, let's say I'm done with working on how does ROC work, and I want to stop tracking time for it. You can just click on the stop here and it will stop, but you can also restart the time track by just clicking on the start button here, or by clicking again on the start on top here. Now, in this list, you can also find different tasks across your spaces that you are assigned to or you want to start tracking time for. So let's say I want to start working on the landing page. If you're not an assignee, it will automatically add you as one. You don't get that same message that you would get on a space level, just for your information, but then I can start time tracking on a new task, so the landing page, and stop it in the same way that I did before. And it will then show in the bottom here of the activities that I'm doing. So if you then start something new, it will just all display once you stop working on it, and then you can just go down the list and find the different tasks that you have been working on, which will then update, and you can see or restart work on a certain tasks, move them, etc. Same as with the management dashboard, as I explained earlier in this session, there's a search function and there's a filter function that works similarly to that. So let's say you want to find all the time you have tracked across this particular space, then you can just look for it and it will filter for that space if you decide to do so. You can stack filters, which will mean that multiple rules will apply for the tasks you're seeing as well. And you can just click on an X and then it should eliminate the filter. Now, why is a time tracker useful for your team? It could be very useful if you're working with freelancers, external partners, or you're just trying to improve the productivity of your team. So a big aspect of task management is prioritization. So then the question is your team prioritizing the correct tasks in their weekly or monthly sprint or whatever way you organize it? The time tracker is a good way to see. Let's say, for example, a blog post you are writing internally. You want to know how much time do people usually spend on this, because then I can assess whether it's a worthwhile activity or how I can calculate my return on investment. So let's say an employee that is earning whatever is spending 4 hours on it, then you can kind of calculate how many signups or what return should I get on this activity for it to be worthwhile to do in the long term. So it gives you a lot of insight on the investment you're doing on different activities within your team, what things you should keep prioritizing, what things you might need to deprioritize based on how long they're taking, and set up those activities in a more effective way where people are working on the things that have the biggest impact on your team, but also the activities that are bringing the highest results to you. An additional thing where this could be useful is if you work with clients, you can do a time track and apply that to that if you're billing on an hourly rate. So you can explain, okay, this month our team worked 20 hours on your project. I could clearly show you what tasks they were working on, and you can just give them a little overview of the different tasks and activities that were done within that time frame. Something that gets added as well, if you want to see the time that was tracked across your whole team or everyone under your plan, is in the management dashboard. The moment you unlock the time tracker, a new panel opens up, the time board. So the time board shows all the tasks from your team across different spaces. All right. So I am on the marketing workspace. You'll see that there's tasks that Emma has done, tasks that Jacob has done, and tasks that they have both worked on. When two people work on a task, you can see what the individual time commitment to those tasks is as well by just clicking on the dropdown. It gives a very similar overview of work that was completed or work that you have been working on in the month, but besides your own time, you will now also be able to see how much time other people within your pro spaces are spending on time tracking. Time tracking is an add-on, but the moment someone is in a pro space with you, where they can access that feature, then the individual panel will open up for them as well. The only thing is that they can only track tasks in spaces that you have upgraded to pro. So it's not like they can go into any space that they're in and start tracking time on their own time board. It will only be for those pro spaces you invited those users to, and they only have access to that individual board that I showed before. The time board is only accessible to the purchaser of the plan. So for a pro user, it would just be the pro user. And if you're under teams, it's only for the purchaser of the plan plus the managers under that plan. Just like I explained before, there's filters. So you can add a filter for users, you can filter for spaces. And if you only selected 10 spaces at random, you can also filter for a workspace in here. So if I, for example, only want to see what Emma has been working on, I can go to assignees and then select Emma from the list. And then I will see the tasks that Emma has been involved in total or across different elements of it, or Jacob, etc. So you can then see that information from those different users, get a little bit more insight on who's been working on what, and you can export this view. If you are, you can copy the view, share it with clients, or get more information on the time you have spent on different tasks for that. You can group by different activities. So if I want to see how much time was in different spaces, I can see here that the time spent in content and production in the website development space, and it then aggregates that information by that field. You can also aggregate it by assignees. So you can see how much time Jacob has spent on tasks, how much time Emma has spent on tasks, which might make it easier to prioritize tasks across your team, see what every team member is spending their time on, and then look how to reprioritize or what activities are making the most impact for your business. So this is the most information on this time tracker. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us in the support space or join the community. We will be adding some improvements to the board in the upcoming weeks. So just stay tuned to our announcements page on the blog for extra information on new features, improvements, and other changes to the platform. To wrap this session up, I'm passing over to Greta, who has some final announcements to make.
Yes, thanks, Nico. So there are a few things I would like to add to what you said. So from now on, any user can sign up for the Teams plan. So you don't need to have a corporate email domain anymore. And also we have a few new improvements on mobile. So from now on, you are able to forward messages on mobile. So you don't have to copy paste anymore. You can just forward messages across spaces, and it's just a few easy steps. Also, we have a faster object sharing now. You can share any task, note, or topic from Rock to any other apps, for example, WhatsApp, Slack, or your social media. So that's most for today. We hope you enjoy the new features, and you can check out our dedicated product guides where we explain all the features in detail. We will share all the links with you. And just as Nico said, feel free to share your feedback with us. Feel free to get in touch through our Rock support space. And we also have a new community space where you can interact with other users and discuss your ideas about Rock as well. So we hope you enjoyed it and have a nice day.
See everyone.